Hello. So a few weeks ago, Candace Owens on her show Candace talked about Erica Kirk and suggested that Erica Kirk might have dissociative identity disorder or DID, which many people know as multiple personality disorder. And I'm not making commentary whether Erica Kirk has DID or not DID. I'm just reporting what Candace said because it made me listen because you'll see why. As I go through this, you will understand why I was listening. Anyway, and she based this opinion on Erica Kirk's signature on documents, and you get a book and you sign it, and her signature at one point in time was very, very different than her signature at a different point in time. She didn't go into a whole lot of detail, but if you think about it, if you go back 10 years, your signature is going to look essentially the same. Go back 20 years, I mean, depending on how old you are, it's going to look essentially you're the same because your signature is your signature. Anyway, a little bit about dissociative identity disorder. And so people that get dissociative, I'm just going to say DID because it's just easier, that get DID or multiple personalities usually develop it very, very early in life. And it's suggested that these individuals get this disorder 6 years old or younger. And it emerges because the individual has experienced extreme abuse, and that could be physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. And what happens is that the person brings in what they call an alter, which is this other personality that kind of takes over the body and runs the show and interacts with you. And these alters can have different names. They can be male, they can be female, they can be old, they can be young, and every place in between. And that, my friends, we're going to explore from a Dr. Rita perspective tonight on Thursday Night Live. Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you for tuning into this show today. And I want to apologize for not being here last week. Actually, I was here and I was hitting the go live button, and I saw that I was only broadcasting to Rumble. I don't know, one thing, and not to YouTube, which if you are listening to the show in a rerun or listening to it on a different platform, I highly recommend that you interact via my YouTube channel, which is at Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's where the majority of the people that are in the chat room are, so you can hang out and join and have a conversation. That's at Just Energy Radio. But anyway, so it wasn't broadcasting to there, and I just decided to just not do it because there was no way for me to recover. How's that? There was no way for me to recover. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. And so I started off the show talking about DID, dissociative identity disorder, but I want to take a little side trip first because I think it will make where I'm going with that make more sense. So what I want to talk about are people that are identified as having schizophrenia. Now, they might have a lot of other things going on with them, paranoia, delusions, et cetera, but one of the things that seems pretty consistent through their commentary is that they hear voices, they see people, they see ghosts, and the mental health professionals sit there and go, well, that's not real. Like you're crazy. You're crazy because there's no ghost and you're not hearing like ghost voices because they don't exist, thus making you crazy. And we have to put you on some kind of medication, which kind of makes me crazy because, I do that professionally. So, I mean, even though I am kind of crazy, like in my own way, but I'm not like schizophrenic crazy. Um, anyway, and so to me, the sad thing is these individuals they do hear voices. And they do see people and they're invisible, ghostly entity people that are hanging out and talking to them, literally. Um, so people that are schizophrenic, what I have seen in my work is that they lack the internal filters to separate out our perceived reality from what somebody that sees in the spirit world. And so someone like myself that, interacts with the spirit world, I can turn it on and off at will. I have to put my little entity glasses on and then it's like, oh, there's an entity. But these people, there's no filter from cognizant reality. I mean, because the reality is there are freaking ghosts walking around all over the place. You go to the house, there's a ghost. You go to this place, there's a ghost. I mean, not that there's like wall-to-wall ghosts, but there are ghosts out there. There are non-corporeal beings that inhabit our world. And to sit there and say somebody's crazy because they can sense them is a little insulting. But anyway, and so, if they are hearing voices, obviously they have some clairaudient ability because they're hearing spirit. If they are seeing the ghost, they have a clairvoyant ability because they're seeing the spirit. But again, we filter reality, but a psychic can see beyond the normal waking world that many of us live in. But again, they're labeled as crazy, but they're not imaginary. They're real. And I'm going to give you, and this is what kind of brought this whole thing up for me to bring up as a topic. So I was helping a friend with their mentally challenged son who is schizophrenic. And we were sitting in a waiting room waiting for an appointment, and we were watching stupid dog videos on YouTube. And he just started talking about this person that was sitting on the wall over there. And he was like, oh, well, that guy over there, he's got a demon. Blah, blah, blah. He's got a demon. And I'm like, okay. So then, probably not so subtly, I looked over. And lo and behold, the guy had a demon. But I couldn't, what do you do with that? You're with somebody that's mentally challenged. You're in a mental health facility trying to get them help. Do you sit there and go, oh yeah, the guy does have a demon and validate that? And then I could just see him going, oh, well, Rita said that, this guy in the lobby had a demon. And then they get the little white coat for me. Yeah, I just wasn't going to go there. And I don't think that's going to be a conversation he and I will have because he has too many other issues to support and validate that piece of it. And so people that have have schizophrenia, I believe not all of them, but some of them could be healed, but it's a very long process. It's a long process to help get the chakras, the energy centers in the body, to work correctly. And depending on what's going on and what the voices are saying, because sometimes the voices are mean and nasty and, the dog is telling you to kill the neighbor. Not good voices to be hearing. Might be real. You might be thinking that the dog, although it's an entity, is telling you to kill the neighbor. They really need to be squished out. And it's very challenging to help an individual that is having those kinds of things go on and they're taking medication to help them heal it, because one kind of wipes the other one out and it just wouldn't work. So back to dissociative identity disorder. So in its classic form, the individual takes on these personas, these alters, and it has a slightly different dynamic. And so someone that's schizophrenic has the person talking in their ear, or the dog is talking to them, or, but it's an external voice that is communicating with them, or they're seeing the demon sitting in the waiting room with this guy. I mean, but it's external. People that have dissociative identity disorder actually have the entity, the being, the spirit enter their body. And I just want to say that, said in another way, it's kind of like they have a full-blown possession going on, where there is a battle for control over the physical body, and where the person, I'm going to say the primary individual, loses control. And so to me, there is a process that happens. So there's the individual, and again, they have experienced extreme abuse, and something happens and they get triggered. And because the abuse has been so extreme, they can be very easily triggered, they can be very readily triggered. And when they're triggered, it can take them, Don, you know this word, it can take them down into the deep, dark rabbit hole. But with these individuals, they go so deep into the rabbit hole that they actually give up control of the body. And so they sit there and say, well, these people are crazy and they have these alters and they don't really understand what's going on. And, there's something cuckoo going on, versus they have this phenomena going on. But there are actual documented cases, documented cases of individuals that have DID where their blood pressure and heart rate are different in the alters. Some of the alters might need to wear glasses, or maybe the individual needs to wear glasses, but the alters don't need to wear glasses. Some of the alters might have blood sugar issues. There are cases where the person is right-handed. I'm back. Okay. I have to tell you, it's like I had no power for half the day yesterday. My printer broke. It's just like, anyway, but there are documented cases where there are individuals who are right-handed, and the one of their alters or whatever is left-handed. There are cases where one of the alters might have allergies that the primary person doesn't. There are even documented cases, and this is the one that I found the most fascinating, is that the primary person is blind, blind, but some of the alters are able to see. What the heck is with that? What is with that? Unless you're talking about different people, different personalities, different energy vibrations going into the body and creating a different vibrational mix, a different hormonal mix, a different emotional mix inside the physical body. And what explains that is not that it's up here, but that there's like a traffic jam going on inside of you. And the whole trigger thing, I'm just making the assumption that that is what is going on. Now, I think, and this is my belief, I have only ever talked to one person that had dissociative DID. I don't think they realized that they had it. But I feel like, and this is a little scary to me, is that the medical community, instead of dealing with these extra personalities, teach them to have a relationship with them so that it's much easier for the other personalities to come and go inside the body. So they're shifting a lot. Usually if you have, or not usually, because this is a new concept I learned of, but many times people that have this disorder do not remember. You know, so you're sitting there and you're going shopping, and then the next thing you know, it's 8 o'clock at night and you're sitting on the sofa watching TV, and you don't know how that all happened, you know, because there's a level of amnesia. There are some people that do not have this amnesia. Now, I don't know if it's because they have worked on it and they have taken down that boundary that is protecting them from interacting with the other personalities. I'm not really sure about that, but these are totally different personalities. You know, because they claim that they coexist with each other from a young age, and that they know their alters. You know, and if I was to speculate about Erica Kirk, and I mean, I've never interacted with her. I cannot tell just by watching video of her, you know, what the situation is. But if that was the case with her, that she has this very fluid kind of DID going on, but it just makes me put out my own speculation on this claim that somebody would have noticed it. Somebody would see these changes in her personality and notice them. I don't think that it's something that you can just totally ignore in an individual that you're close to, that you have an ongoing relationship with. You know, so if people think something is crazy, that you're crazy in your head, you know, just say no, because I believe that there are beings and entities hanging around in the picture, and they're the ones that are doing it and communicating with you. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I would love to hear your comments, especially if you have DID. Like if you're watching this video and you have DID, I would love to hear your comments about, am I hitting target here or not? I mean, unless you're totally programmed by the mainstream medical who just says you're crazy, which I don't believe you're crazy. No, I believe that you just don't have very good filters. Anyway, so that's my thing for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave, again, comments in the comments section. And while you are watching this, or after you watch this, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my different social media channels. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, please like and subscribe to it. If you're seeing it on Substack, please like and subscribe to it. Same with Twitter. Same with Rumble, because that helps the channel grow. And one of the things that I just learned recently is that there's liking it, and then there's putting in a short description, or not a short description, but, you know, like responding. And apparently the magic number is 6. You know, so hang on one second. So looks, and if this is something you're interested in, you know, please do explore my YouTube channel. If you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, you can go to my webpage, which is soulhealer.com. It is loaded with articles. There are, I want to say, 3 or 4 other articles about entities and entity attachments. If you think you might have one, it can give you some information. You know, but I would love to hear from you. Soulhealer.com. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready? So here are the rules of engagement. If you would like to get a reading from me, why does it do this to me? You know, I click on something and then it just does whatever the heck it wants. If you'd like to get a reading from me, just put in the comments, hey, Dr. Rita, your hair looks amazing. I'd like to get a reading, and give me a number between 1 and 3. and that's how many times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf. If you see that there's like a whole line before you and you want to make sure you get your reading, you can go to soulhealer.com/live and jump the line. And when I hear the little chime, you will be the next in line to get your reading. And just in the notes, just put, I'd like a number 3. I mean, after you say I have gray hair, put a number 3. If you'd like to ask a personal question, about a relationship or a job or a health related concern, it really doesn't matter. Same thing, go to soulhealer.com/live, click the Ask Dr. Rita link, and you can ask your question there. And as always, if you're enjoying the show, if you're enjoying the message that I'm leaving, if you're getting a reading and it's resonating with you, I would love it if you would leave me a little something, something in the tip jar. Again, also at soulhealer.com/live. Okie dokie. Well, there's a lot of comments in here, but I think there's a lot of conversation happening, which is always good. Okay, so let me get these cards mixed up a little bit, and we will get rocking. Okay, and you know what? I'm just going to put my glasses on. I have been staring at the computer and my eyes are tired and I can't really read jack right now. Okay, so let's see. ERRT Radio. He says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita. I missed you last week. What lovely hair you have tonight. May I have a reading number 3? Thank you. And you sure can, ERRT Radio. Okay, all right, let's see what you have going on. All right, and that's your card for today. Oh, I didn't even click on it. All right, there you are, but you're going to go away in a second. That's your card for today. Okay, so ERRT Radio, I just feel like your energy feels pretty happy right now. I feel like you are feeling upbeat. I feel like things have been, I mean, this is just so terrible that things have been going good for the past couple of days, and you're just like really in appreciation that they have been good. And it's double interesting because they haven't necessarily been great, but they haven't been really crappy. And I think the biggest thing is that you're having gratitude for that. And I think I want to express that to everyone. So, with how the energy has been on the planet with the one thing after another and the nonstop, when you have those brief moments of peace and contentment, even if it's not great, super, kind of thing, acknowledge it, be grateful for it, and take a nice deep breath in and own it. Okay, great. Okay. All right. And we have Wave Lady. Hey, Miss Wave Lady. And she says, good evening. I have a number 1 tonight. A number 1. You sure can, Miss Wave Lady. Okay. And that's your card for today. So, Miss Wave Lady, one of the things you're showing me is I feel like your creative juices have really been moving and flowing. I feel like, okay, interesting. Okay, I feel like you have felt kind of stuck for a while, and I feel like you can sense in yourself that things are starting to move, like, you know, you're going down the road, like as if you were stuck in bumper to bumper traffic, and whatever was going on down the road has finally started to resolve and your car is starting to move forward again. You know, I sense a lot of excitement in you, but I also, in the same breath, feel like you haven't fully identified what the thing is. But I feel like you also know, got complicated. You're being complicated on me. You also know that that information will come to you as you continue moving forward, because I feel like you're recognizing that whatever is coming to you is the direction, and you don't need to make make a decision, because you're just working with going with the flow. So good job with that. Good job. And you'll have to let us know like what this is all about. You too, ERRT Radio. Let me know if that resonates with you. All right, let's see. And we have Miss Amy. Amy. And she says, hi, Dr. Rita. Glad to see you are okay. I am doing wonderful, Amy. And as you can see with my presentation today, I was ready for it last week, but I chose, because I love you guys, to not do that presentation this week or last, like to just keep going with nobody here. Anyway, but I'm here. Okay, and so she said, glad you're okay. May I have a number 2 reading, please? Thank you. You sure can, Miss Amy. Okay. Okay, and that's your card for today. So, Amy, I am feeling like either you just got some good news, you know, and I'm going to use that in kind of globalish sense. But, you know, or you will be getting some good news. I feel like there's a lightness tied to this information, might be opportunity. You know, I feel like you are going to be receiving something. I feel like it is going to be more of an information, like somebody's not going to bring you a gift, you know, but they are going to provide you with some kind of information that you're going to be able to use or move forward with. Or it's an answer to something that you have been trying to get the answer to. But I just feel like it's going to make you happy. I do feel like, you know, it's something that you've either been working on and it's taking forever to resolve, or something that, okay, there was a thought there, but it just totally left my brain. Okay, moving on. You know, and yeah, I got nothing else, Amy. Just like either let me know if you've gotten this bit of information, this news, and if it hasn't arrived yet, I mean, I'm feeling like it's really present in the now. And when you receive it, if there's some bit of information that you get and it makes you smile, that would be it. That would be it. Okay, let's see. And we have Don. He says, howdy, Dr. Rita. I hope everything is working okay. Tonight, can I get a number 3 reading? You sure can, Don. All right, Don. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Don, I'm going to make a comment because I did bring your name up in the introduction, you know, in the presentation part. So just imagine that the rabbit hole got deeper, that you were so focused in the rabbit hole that life was going on and you had absolutely no awareness of it. So be blessed. You're blessed. You don't have DID. Blessed. Okay. All right, here's your card for today. So Dawn, I just am feeling like there is, and I'm going to say a tiredness about you. I mean, there's kind of being physically tired, but I feel like there's an emotional tiredness around. I feel are done. Some level, it's like I almost want a rock bottom place, and you are wanting to shift that and move up. You've seen that you can, you know that there's hope, and you're ready. Like I feel like there's a readiness to not be who you were and become this new you. And if you have not got my book, dang, it was me all along. And if you buy it off my website page, it does come autographed. I really think it would help you, Dawn, or anybody who is trying to get out of their own way so that they can move forward and live a happier life. You know, but usually when we get to that place, and I'm going to say of surrender, like where we just don't want to do it anymore, that's when we start seeing the biggest changes moving forward. So I'm curious how this moves forward, Don, even if you're not. Okay. Did Amy, I did Don. Okay, and it's Miss Veronica. And she says, hey, hi, y'all. Would love a reading. You didn't give me a number, Veronica. Okay, a 3. She wants a 3. Okay. All right, Veronica, let's see what's going on with you. All right, and that's your card for today. So, I mean, so I'm just going to preface this to everybody. So I know some of the stuff that Veronica's going through right now, so I'm not going to disclose that. However, I do want to say that the downtime you're having, Veronica, has been, I'm going to say, very healing for you. I feel like it has made you or forced you to look at your priorities and come up with, you know, like, what does Veronica want? Where is Veronica going to move forward to? I feel like all of this stagnation has really been good because you've kind of been like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, that part is very clear. But I also feel like you are going, okay, but this is only going to last for so long. And where am I going from here? You know, this is resolved, and where am I going from here? And I think that that's really good. I hope that this thinking, planning, ideation, that maybe you're writing some of that down, maybe doing a little journaling, just so that you can kind of keep it to go back to. You know, and that you listen to that commitment and listen to what you and your soul wants from you. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's see. It's Poonja. Hey, Miss Poonja. Hello, Dr. Rita. May I have a message number 1, please? You sure can. Uh-oh, Poonja. I was hoping it would be a mask-free day. So if there's anyone listening that hasn't listened to this show before, these cards, these with the mask, because these are masks, usually turn up where there's an energy that you're in denial about, that you don't want to look at, that you're avoiding. And I'm not nice. And I always look to see what's behind it and look to where I see the energy clearing or what is needed to clear the energy. And so, Poonja, this is the next card, and this is a great card for you. So, Poonja, I get the impression that you had like a little disagreement with somebody. I feel like this block is not that great. I do feel like there is some ruminating going on inside of you. And I feel like the resolution to that, you know, not with them, who cares about them, but the resolution to your own energy and to your own happiness is to go, screw them, you know, and take yourself out of that equation and stop trying to figure it out. It's like, it is what it is. And either you're going to deal with it and put up with it more, or you're going to exit it, you know. And I'm suggesting that you choose you instead of trying to fix or accommodate or navigate. Okay. All right. Now you really have to tell me if I'm hitting. You know, and you guys, if I'm hitting, I would love the feedback. You know that. All right. So Veronica wrote, I think I have that disorder. No, wait, my writing looks like a doctor's signature, so sometimes I think I'm a doctor. That's pretty funny. Okay, let's see. And then Don said, Dr. Rita, love your hair tonight. It looks light and fun for you. Well, you know, I've been trying to like, all right, this is terrible. I'm going to just tell you on air, right? I don't like how she cut it because this is too short. And I actually really can't figure out anything to do with it. I tried brushing it. I tried doing this, and it's all looked really crappy. So now I'm just trying to like kind of do this more natural. Maybe I could have it be curly kind of thing. I don't know. It has a mind of its own. Sometimes I feel like it's like Medusa, except not snakes, because it just does whatever the hell it wants. But thank you, Don. Let's see. All right, Don says, well, I must be nuts because my entity is still here. No noise, no talking, just touch. Oh, you have one of those, one of them perverted kind. They're kind of challenging. You know, so what I tell people, Don, is when you have an entity, it's like they are attracted to you because you emit a certain emotional vibration. You really need to go listen to the videos or get my Dark Angels book that really gets into it. But you are emanating a certain emotional vibration that they are attracted to. You know, and that's what the key is, to figure out what that is and then heal that piece of yourself. And it's Yvonne. Hi, Dr. Rita, your hair is so pretty. Can I get a reading number 2, please? You sure can. Okay. All right, and that's your card for today. Well, I'm curious what this is going to be about. So, Yvonne, I feel like this kind of self conscious energy around you. I sense this like questioning yourself, wondering like what other people think, and just questioning. Um, and I get it. I totally get it. But from I'm going to say, law of attraction point of view, that vibration, that energy puts out to the universe, there's something wrong with me, versus I'm great. um, and I'm not sure how to say it without having it come out like sounding really awful, but there is a negative twist on that energy vibration that comes out as I am less than. I am less than them. They are better. They are superior to me because I am less than, because I give a damn what they have to say. And it's not that we shouldn't give a damn but what other people have to say, but where your energy is you are trusting or holding their opinion. Oh, this is the key. You're holding their opinion of you above your opinion of yourself. Screw their opinion. Just have your opinion of yourself. And either they're going to like you or not like you. Boy, these are just kind of random today. Again, if this is making sense to you and it's resonating with you, I would love to hear your comments. And, you can always go to soulhealer.com/live and leave a little something in that tip jar, because I'd appreciate it. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, so Don put, isn't that attributed to not enough amino acid in the brain at birth? Okay, so Veronica thinks that's a great question. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, Don, but I am intrigued. So if you could follow up on that. I mean, there might have been something in the comments that I missed. But if you could follow up on that, because I'm not quite making the connection. Are you talking about like schizophrenia or what? Not sure. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Wavely. You help with trauma breath? I am curious. So if you're talking about doing breath work, I mean, I do breath work with some people. I cover breath work in the Dang It Was Me All Along book, but it's a really easy technique to learn, and you could just go on YouTube to learn the technique. When I work with people, any client, regardless of what it is, people are like, well, what are you going to do? And I never know, because whatever I'm led to address or go to, that's where I go. I do not have like, I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to do this second, and I'm going to go do this third. Like, I don't have that kind of procedure that I ever follow. Not really, no. All right, ERRT Radio, again, spot on as always. I think part of my improvement is working on my backyard project, my backyard observatory. So we all want to see pictures of this observatory when you get it done, ERRT Radio. And then Wave Lady says, oh man, Dr. Rita, tonight's reading was so true. Thank you. You amazing and very helpful. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so Amanda, so if you would like to get a reading, if you would just provide me with a number of 1 to 3, if you would like to ask a specific question, you would need to go to soulhealer.com/live and click on the Ask Dr. Rita link, and that will send me an email with your specific question. But if you want to get a reading here on the show, you would just provide me with a number between 1 and 3. Same with you, True Color. You're a new name. Welcome to the show. Amy says, no good news yet, but we'll let you know when it does. Thank you for your reading. We'll stay hopeful. We'll all get some good news soon. Yes, ma'am. Me too. Veronica says, spot on reading. Thank you, Veronica. And Susan says, hi, Rita. Good to finally be here. Yay. So you too, Susan. I'm looking at the clock. We have time. If you would like to get a reading, provide me with a number between 1 and 3, and we can get your reading. And then Yvonne says, yes, let it be natural. It looks adorable. Thank you. I am thinking, since we're talking my hair, is I want to get this cut shorter so it's fluffier, you know. Anyway, take that on. And then Yvonne says, thank you. Interesting reading. I get what you're saying. Okay, and I hope that makes sense, like if you've had that energy sitting around. And then Veronica said, I needed to hear the other person's reading about screw other people's opinions. Okay. Well, you know, and sometimes, see, Veronica, you haven't been here for a while, but we have had nights where everybody has been just resonating with each other. We had one night, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, ERRT Radio, Yvonne, that we probably had 10 plus mass cards come up throughout the course of the night. I mean, it was just overwhelming. It was like every other card was a mass card. It was, yeah. And then Don says, that about people that talk to spirit, something has a friend no one else sees or hears. This is true. Okay. And then Don says, yes, I'm ready to move on. Well, that's because I told you, Don, it's time to move on. Okay, let's see. And then well, that's not to me. All right, so I guess those two women that came in that wanted readings have not posted anything here. Okay, so I am at the bottom of the scroll. So what did you guys think of tonight's topic? You know, I don't know if you guys have had any experience with that or ever thought about, you know, the possibility that people that are schizophrenic, we'll put the dissociative identity disorder to the side. I mean, personally, I think those people are plagued with spirits and they've just learned to play kind of nice in the sandbox together. But that, you know, that they are actually interacting with spirit. I watched some YouTube videos about the dissociative identity disorder, and the people that have it are like, well, you know, my counselor, and, you know, I have this issue and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know, people that have dissociative identity disorder are not crazy. You know, schizophrenia is kind of a spectrum, and you can have other aspects that make you be like more cray-cray than just hearing voices. But I have worked, so what was that doctor's name? The guy that Russell Crowe played the professor in the movie A Beautiful Mind. And he had schizophrenia, and, you know, like his college roommate would come and talk to him, and this person would come and talk to him. And he learned to navigate around those spirits that were driving him crazy. And he never took medication. But have it navigate and manage it, you know. But with that, you know, you can also have a whole lot of other issues that are tied to the schizophrenia. You know, you could have paranoid ideation, or you can be, you know, get delusional. So anyway, it is what it is. Let's see. So let's see. ERRT Radio says, great topic tonight. I have dealt with straight up crazy people. Haven't we all? And now they all work for the government. All right, guys. Well, there's not any more commentary. I am going to let you all go. Thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. Till next time, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.